Hello, everybody. Welcome to Everything in Moderation podcast, episode 27. Okay. I have Eric here today, and we are going to be discussing the decriminalization of all drugs. Eric, please take it away.
All right, so I know a lot of people have heard of it, but Portugal in 2003, I think it was, or 2001, decriminalized all drugs. And it's controversial. You can ask people on both sides, people who think they should legalize drugs, people who think they shouldn't, and they'll find something from Portugal and they'll argue about it. But um, the main things I want to point out, they also did it like in respect to like education programs and also like a minimum basic income. So it wasn't just like legalizing drugs. There's like a bunch of confounding factors that happened around the same time. But I think that if you want to decriminalize all drugs in the United States, I think that's something that could go into effect today and have positive outcomes as long as it's accompanied by like education and also like the social programs of like getting people help if they actually want it. I don't think that counting drug users as criminals helps anyone in any way. I think it's just stupid. Um, and some of the stuff from the Portugal thing was while drug usage increased by about 5%, like heroin use dropped by 46%, and way more people went to rehab, and HIV percentages dropped like drastically, which is the main thing they were trying to fight against. It wasn't really for like drug legalization. The purpose was more for HIV reduction. So what are your thoughts?
I actually saw I actually sent it in the chat. I don't know if you took a look at it, but what did I send? So basically it was a study from Addiction for Debate, I think. But the title is Would Legalizing Illicit Opioids Reduce Overdose Fatalities? Implications from a Natural Experiment. So contrary to what I thought, it actually would.
I wonder why. I feel like the big thing is like one, like no one knows how to use it safely, and two, like stigma. Like you got to hide it if you're going to use it. So it creates like a culture of like people who are using are like outlaws.
Oh, and hold on, I'm gonna share my screen just so everyone can see this. And there you go, stigma.
Good.
There has been a lengthy and lively debate for
Also contaminants. If it's legal, then opioids are like what's in them.
Yeah. So would it work? There's clear evidence that those in heroin-assisted treatments have reduced risk of death from heroin overdose. While somewhat impractical, it is theoretically possible that if all heroin users were treated in highly supervised treatment programs, this would result in a major fall in mortality. If all doses were consumed in the supervised treatment setting with post-dose observation, the likelihood of such a treatment provision is minimal. In the community setting, where most drug use occurs, the extent to which any change in legal access to heroin would affect overdose rates. Overdose rates depends upon the validity of the assumptions underpinning the argument. Drug purity and drug impurity as major causes of overdose. We will now address. Okay, yeah. So I could definitely see that, like purity. You often hear about like weed laced with like fentanyl or something, like, but that obviously if you bought it from a company, that would never happen, I would assume, or there would be very
Also, like if you do it with all these other like social programs, and like people who get help if they're addicted, like most people try to just like are gonna quit like cold turkey, and that is a recipe for disaster. But if you go to like a facility and they like taper you down, like you're so much more likely to stay off of it and also like not get as bad side effects. So
okay. That's interesting.
I'm sure that would help too.
So I had a question for you
Yes.
because I wrote it down, and I know how much you love capitalism. So by legalizing these drugs, that would present an opportunity to businesses and corporations to start manufacturing them and selling them on a recreational basis. So how do you feel about that? Do you think that it's kind of just whatever, or like it would have more benefits than just that, or like that's like a con you'd be willing to sacrifice?
I don't think it's necessarily a con because, like as you said, like it would be regulated and they would have to like be pure enough. But I also don't think they should be allowed to like advertise. So you can't be like, oh, come take our heroin. It's the best heroin in the country. Like that's a recipe for disaster, and I would not live for that. But I don't know. I feel like if people want to, if someone's consenting, they want to put something in their body, they can do it.
Bro, I do immediately just thought of a commercial. It's like Johnson and Johnson heroin, shoot up now. Oh
Yeah,
boy.
I think that's a good idea.
Um, okay. So then one of the questions I was talking about this with my parents right before and I got on here. And my dad had a question for you as well. He said, um, to what effect would drug usage like in the surrounding like a lot of people like so you said that okay, just let's clear this up first. Um you said in Portugal that drug usage went up
Went
in
up
certain
5%.
places. Okay. So um do you think that that would affect children in a way? Like, like we when we were in elementary school, we had like the DARE program, like, oh, drugs are bad, whatever. And then I mean, a lot of people didn't take heed to that advice, but basically what I'm saying is like, do you think that could have like a negative effect on like certain communities if everything was decriminalized and like you saw it more often?
I think it could, but to go off your like children's statement, in Portugal, like teenage drug use dropped like drastically, and I think that has to do a lot with one like education because like we got there and it's just like drugs are bad, they're gonna kill you, don't do them, and then like everyone's like, wait, that's not really true, so then no one cares anymore. Everyone's like, oh, there's bullshit. Um, but yeah, so drug usage dropped among teenagers, and what was the next part of your question?
Um, would it kind of, well, okay,
Well, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of like a forbidden fruit situation where like if it's illegal, it's like more you're more likely to do it in a way.
okay, yeah,
But
that
it
makes
could
sense.
have like among like communities who don't understand like what's happening. I think it could have negative effects. There, it's like, oh, meth's legal. Let's go to the corner store and get some meth. I don't think that's a good idea.
Um, I guess that at that point it would be more like regulated with like who's allowed to actually have it. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? Like by age.
Yeah, and I think in Portugal they did something where it was like if you had over a certain amount, you had to like get approval from the government, which I don't know if it's a good idea, but it's just like kind of a way to track who's doing what.
I think that's always a good thing
Yeah.
in most cases. Um, there was one question I was going to ask, but I can't remember now.
And also it's important to note that Portugal didn't do legalization, they did decriminalization. Where it's like you can still get if you have like over a certain amount, you can still get fined or like community service, but you don't go to jail. And you're like as long as you agree to go to rehab, you won't go to jail.
Fair enough. So, what makes you so passionate about this issue?
Well, I think that it's something that could benefit a lot of people. And there's just so much wasted money and wasted time by putting people in prison for like, especially something like marijuana. Like I think that's so stupid that people are in jail for that. And I just think it's kind of dumb to like draw the line, like which drugs are like you should take, which drugs you're not allowed to take. I don't know. If someone wants to take something, they're going to do it no matter what, if it's legal or not. So you shouldn't go to prison for that, especially if you're addicted. It's not like it shouldn't be a criminal thing, in my opinion. What do
Okay.
you think about that?
Um, I definitely think that it shouldn't be like you shouldn't be a criminal per se, but I just know that I like for me personally, I would not want my kids to be around that.
That's fair.
Yeah. Like I mean that's how I feel about like abortion too. Like if I was with a partner for a long time, like and it's like a committed relationship, I would be strongly against her getting an abortion if we were together. It's like, all right, whatever, we fucked up. Like, let's work with what we got now.
Yeah.
Whereas like I don't really care like what other people do because like whatever. But like I'm more concerned with my world, if that
I
makes any
think
sense.
that's kind of like what I'm getting at, where it's like you can do whatever you want, but you shouldn't be restricted by the government for these things. Like that's why I think like for abortion too, it should be like if you want to do it, you can do it. Would I do it? Probably not.
Yeah.
But
Well, I mean, you can't do
well, that's a good point.
it.
Uh,
I mean, who knows these days? We're probably about like 3 decades away from like men being able to have children. Bro, if men are able to have children, I'm just saying, girls, your purpose in this world is pretty much gone.
we don't need you anymore. About the boys.
No, well, I mean, I guess girls could say the same thing. They don't really need us anymore because it's like a puzzle piece. We provide the seed, and then they
That's
provide.
fair. I think fuck it, instead of legalizing drugs, I think that would help all violence across the country.
Oh my days.
Also, this is perfectly because I've been rewatching Breaking Bad, so this is perfect timing for this episode.
Oh yes, bro. I just knew. I felt it. What do you think would have happened to Walter if drugs were decriminalized?
No, I don't know. But if Breaking Bad was in a socialist country, he would have gotten cancer, he would have gotten treatment for his cancer, and he would have been sent on his way. One episode would have been 20 minutes long.
God, I don't know if it's a good thing because he lives or it's a bad thing because you don't get entertainment.
That's fair.
Oh my days. Bro, you know what we need to talk about one time?
What?
Overpopulation.
Hmm?
We need to talk about overpopulation one
I'm
time.
down. Is that Luke that's passionate about that? He wants a nuclear winter.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of like I don't think that nuclear winter is that's not good. But I feel like I don't know how to say this. People need to die, basically. not forcefully, like don't bring it to them. But I'm sure it has some positives if people just disappeared from the world.
Birth control. That'll help.
Oh fuck. Bro, that's like an existential crisis for people that are like, no, overpopulation's a problem. No, pro-life.
Fuck. Makes my head spin.
Bro, I just think that there's a lot of like existential crises that people go through with their beliefs and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I feel like a lot of people don't have like a strict like framework for their beliefs. That's why.
I think that's a good thing in a way though, because like imagine being like I hate people that say like, oh, like I'm a conservative. Like you use it as a character trait.
Yeah.
Like, no, just shut up, Billy.
Yeah, but I think those like that's the people I'm talking about. Like instead of having like a moral framework where it's like I believe like this is the stuff that should happen unless this, it's more like I believe everything the conservatives tell me to believe.
Yeah.
Or like there's people on the other side too. Don't get me wrong. Trust me, don't get me wrong.
Yeah. No, I'm an anarcho liberal.
I saw that was creepy.
Okay. I'm just gonna casually die. This is gonna just be okay, so just to circle back to the drug topic. How do you see this affecting lower income areas?
I'm not sure. Maybe for like I guess for the people who are like doing these like drugs, it'd probably be better for them. And depending on well, because it wouldn't be like as dangerous. Um, but I guess it could kind of change like the culture around drugs where it's like for the people who aren't doing it might be like, oh, it's not that bad, it's legal. Or it might be like, oh, it's legal, like I don't really want to do that anyway. I don't know. It depends like because like there's no arguing that United States culture is different from Portugal. So it could it could really be a completely different effect.
All I know is this, is that there's going to be one group that's going to be detrimentally hurt by that if that were to happen.
Who?
Rappers.
That's true.
They'd run out of content. They're like, oh, I peddled drugs off on the corner or whatever. Oh my days. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I definitely didn't think that I would agree with this, but I guess so.
I will say, as I said earlier, it 100% would have to come with like education and also like those social programs. If it was just legalize everything, it would be a shit show. I would not want to be here.
Yeah, that would be just. I mean, it kind of channels Florida, which is everywhere.
Yeah.
You're just gonna have like the crack zombies or whatever the hell like they got. There's some. I mean, I remember when we were in 8th grade, I think. There was that drug, the crocodile, that was running rampant in Florida for like a good couple months. That shit was weird.
I remember that.
To this day, I still don't even really know what that drug is used for. I know it's like a type of morphine, but I just don't know what it's actually used for.
I don't know.
I think I from what I understood and what I remember, it was just a really, really powerful morphine.
Sounds awesome.
Bro, it's like the video games, like when you get like shot or something, you just
Instant 100 health.
health regen. Okay, I think we covered that pretty fairly.
Yeah.
We will be doing timestamps now, ladies and gentlemen. We will have micro content as well to just make more digestible episodes, just in case that you don't want to watch the whole episode. You can just watch the little clip of, say, Eric introducing this topic and talking about what he researched and saw. Then like some general feedback, some funny moments and stuff. I think that with that, we're definitely going to have a lot more stuff being uploaded. So if you have our notifications on, it's going to be busy.
Good luck.
But I think that'll definitely help with everything and getting us some more views to people that aren't our friends, you know?
Yeah.
Because then like more, I think people will be more inclined to click on a video that's like 6 minutes rather than 35, what we normally do.
For sure.
Alrighty. On Friday, we'll be discussing the Armenian genocide and Joe Biden recognizing it for the first time, first U.S. president to do so. And also just kind of getting ahead of myself here, but this was kind of inevitable because 49 states recognized the Armenian genocide.
What was the one state that didn't? Do you know?
Mississippi. I don't know why Mississippi didn't recognize it, but like I wouldn't be surprised if Mississippi didn't recognize the Holocaust either.
Mississippi is still trying to figure out what Armenian means.
Fuck. Dude, remember like in elementary school we learned how to like always remember how to spell Mississippi. Mississippi.
Yeah.
Alrighty. On that note, we look forward to seeing you on Friday, especially for the waves of Armenians that I know that will be watching. So kudos to them. Very happy for them. And yeah, on that note, do drugs, kids, and have a good one.
And drop out of school.
Wise words from Everything in Moderation podcast. Definitely is not going to get us demonetized. We don't even make any money. So it's nothing to demonetize. All right. Thanks, Eric.
Peace.
See ya.